सुनाई दे रहा है आपको बेटा?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome, Saumya, to the Vajirao Reddy Institute mock interview. You come from Unnao district.
Yes, sir.
Would you prefer to talk in English or Hindi?
Sir, in English.
Okay, very good. Tell us something interesting about Unnao. What is Unnao famous for?
So it is famous for tannery industry.
Okay.
So the leather and tannery industry, it is Unnao is famous for it, and it constitutes a major part of export from Unnao district.
Okay. Now, under the one district, one product scheme of UP government, what item has been given to Unnao district?
Sir, I'm not very sure, but sir, it is not the leather products.
It is not the leather products.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me, leather, of course, products are very good for export and all, but they have a very bad effect on the local environment. What is the bad effect on the environment?
So the first effect it is so that the waste that is generated out of the tannery industries,
Okay.
it is mostly dumped into the Ganga River.
Okay.
So water pollution is a major concern.
Okay.
Only, sir, the environment itself out there it is a bad kind of odor that lingers in the environment.
Okay.
So that it creates a negative perception about this district.
Now, what causes the water pollution? What is so particular about the effluents from the tanneries that they create pollution?
So it is the organic waste. And
organic waste, not the inorganic compounds.
Chemicals which are used in the industries are also there.
Okay.
So the NGT has provided the guidelines to improve the density of the treatment plants, but it is not up to the mark.
Okay. Now, suppose you are made as the in charge of the industrial hub of Unnao district, and you are asked to do something to improve the environment and the effluents from the plants. What will you do? You have some idea how it can be tackled?
So firstly, the treatment at the industry level should be ensured. The density of the industrial effluent treatment plant should be increased. Secondly, sir, the riparian buffers can be created so that any industrial waste that is dumped into the river, it undergoes that riparian buffer so that its amount is reduced.
Okay. Now, do you have any idea of how some energy can be extracted out of the effluents?
So I'm not very sure. Waste to energy is a mechanism, but I'm not very sure.
You are not sure. Now, what causes this bad smell from the tanneries? Are you aware of the chemical compound?
No, sir. Sorry.
You are not aware of the chemical compound. Okay. Now, you are an honors graduate from Kirodimal College. Oh, very good. Can you name some famous people who have passed out from Kirodimal College?
Yes, sir.
Who are those?
Sir, from entertainment industry, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan is the one.
Yes.
And sir, among the politicians, Mr. Naveen Patnaik is our alumni.
Okay. Okay. Have you met any of them?
Sir, I have met once Mr. Amitabh Bachchan when he came to our college to find the auditorium because it is in the...
Now, you have taken geography in your masters.
Yes.
What is this GIS system?
So it is a geographical indication system. That means that we are mapping a particular spatial layers and the elements that are presented over the space for the purpose of monitoring and mapping. Where
do you get these GIS photographs from?
So presently, for example, the ISRO is in our country, ISRO is working on that.
Okay.
And a few private entrepreneurs are also given the leverage through the policy.
How do they generate these photographs?
So just through the satellites,
Okay.
the low orbital satellites, they take these photos.
Okay. What is the difference between a low orbit and a geostationary satellite?
So the low orbital satellite, it is located within 2 to 5 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, whereas the geostationary satellite, its height is about 36,000 kilometers.
Okay. How many times does a satellite pass the Earth?
So the geostationary satellite?
The geostationary will be at one place only. They will not be rotating. What about, let's say, a low orbit satellite?
Sir, there is no such fixed mechanisms. It can be about 9 to 10 times in a day.
Good, fine. Now, tell me, if you are posted in the space application department of government of UP, how to what use will you put these spatial maps?
So my mechanism would be to analyze what are the differences which are creating the differences in the agricultural productivity.
Okay.
So, for example, there is a huge diversion between what this Western UP is facing and in the Eastern UP. So, for example, the size of the agricultural land holdings or the kind of the agricultural intensity that these two regions are having, that can be compared and the policy can be made accordingly.
What about forestry? What use can you put it in the forestry or development of forests of UP?
So presently, it is in UP. It is around 6.09%, which is very less compared to the national average. So, for example, in the Tarai region and in the Bhabar region, the forestry afforestation can be promoted. Presently, it is very less.
Very good. Can you tell me some names of important personalities from UP who have become national leaders?
I'm currently not very sure, sir.
UP national leaders. Most of the leaders have been from UP only.
Sorry,
you are not aware of any prime minister or any president or any Bharat Ratna from UP?
Sir, I'm aware, but presently I'm unable to recall.
Narendra Modi himself is elected from. Shri Narendra Modi also elected from Banaras, UP. Shrimati Indira Gandhi.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chalo, theek hai. Thank you. Now our colleague Professor Satish will talk to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Saumya, can you hear me, Saumya?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. In the last 3 to 4 decades, we have seen remarkable laws have been framed in favor of females, empower them. Like we have a Mahila Thana, we have a Mahila Bank, Mahila Panchayat, buses and trains reserved for female. But still the gender inequality is large. It has not been, forget about eliminations, it has not come down to the level where we can think of a female can roam around in any part of the state of UP very freely. How long will it? Is it merely a state can act? Or the responsibility lies on the head of the citizen as well?
Yes, sir. So I think the responsibility lies on the both ends. So this can only provide the empowering mechanisms, but the empowerment, the real empowerment comes from the socialization and the family values that are put into the females. So we are seeing that females in India presently, if I talk specifically about the UP, the literacy rate is actually at the gap of 20% from that of the males. So the literacy gap is very high. And the female labor force participation rate is very less from the national average, just 18%. Also, sir, we are seeing that the parenting of the women in most of the parts of the country is marriage oriented rather than the career oriented. So sir, these values need to be changed so that the women are made empowered from their family level itself. The state can promote the yes, sir.
Fine. Sir, continue.
Yes, sir. So the state can only provide the empowering mechanisms. For example, ensuring the safety and security through CCTV cameras, surveillance mechanisms, etc., or empowering through the working space hostels, providing the creches, etc.
So yeah, fine. Some of the comedies show in India are very popular, like Kapil Sharma show and other. But when you think of the Indian bureaucracy, the state bureaucracy as well, if you are in district collector office, police office, it is a very boring, very status quo. Sense of humor is completely missing out. It might be seen in some of the movies. So as a SPM, or maybe city SP in the police of UP, what kind of thing will you do in the office that will keep the sense of humor alive among your staff? What will you do?
Sir, there is a famous example, the IPS officer DC Rajappa. So we had taken an initiative by promoting the poetry writing among the police officers. And it has borne fruits. It has created a kind of very jovial atmosphere among the policemen. And the emotional intelligence, it is a mechanisms of emotional intelligence. So I think, sir, these kind of mechanisms can be taken.
What kind of non-traditional methods of policing you can think of introducing in your thana or wherever you will be posted as a police officer? During the pandemic, it has been seen by different police officers. They have introduced a different kind of methods to put the people, aware the people about the pandemic. Sometimes not very harsh. So what can you think of doing certain things? Very innovative.
So I think the soft skilling of the police is needed. So, for example, the use of technology can be taken up. For example, the CCTV cameras, the surveillance can be done through that. And we can ensure, for example, the people who have been removed, for example, the street hawkers, if they are being removed from a place, the alternative places can be provided to them through safe distancing and spacing, so that the economy also goes on and the public perception of the police is that of the people friendly.
If you are told to identify the 5 great people from Uttar Pradesh who have contributed immensely, not necessarily the political leader, it could be all holistic. If I'm saying you to identify the 5 top individuals from the UP who have made this state great and to a certain extent contributed for the country as well, whom would you identify 5 people from UP?
So in from the sphere of the freedom struggle, I think the Chandrasekhar Azad would be one such person who has given UP, he was from Uttar Pradesh only. So in terms of literature, I think there have been many literary personalities from UP. For example, Suryakant Tripathi Nirala, Mahadevi Verma has been the one, these 2 people. So in terms of politics, I think so Mrs. Indira Gandhi is the very strong face of women empowerment in India. And the first one, I would like to quote, so these are the only ones.
Okay, fine. Kashmir is changing. Is it changing for better or is it changing for worse?
So I think it is changing for the better because according to the reports by the NIA and the reporting, the Ministry of Home Affairs, the instances of terrorism, they have reduced as before, as compared to the years where the Article 370 was not abrogated. Secondly, the tourism is also being promoted in few areas. And by allowing people to buy the land in the state, I think the demography can be improved by promotion of the cultural intermixing.
My last question. Down the line, after 20 years, as a very honest and very convincing the bureaucrat, how do you see the state of UP from 2022 to 2042? What are the changes you can perceive of?
So I think the UP presently is agriculturally dominant state. I think according to the policies that are being taken up by the UP government, I think the industrial contribution of the UP government will rise. Its contribution in the tourism, domestic tourism, as well as the national and international tourists that are coming into this.
Fine, Shreya, fine.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now you tell me, who is the designated president of India, new president?
So, Ms. Draupadi Murmu.
Okay, she's from state.
So she is from the state Mayur Bhanjudesha.
Orissa. Okay. He was president of India during which period?
So I'm not very sure, sir.
Okay, you are not very sure. You have studied geography. Can you tell me what has been the effect of climate change on agriculture production in UP state? Is there any event or visible effect of climate change on agriculture production?
So, sir, these state level of micro regional studies have not been done by the international organizations. But as per what we are seeing presently is that the erratic monsoon pattern is coming up. And so because of that, so even in this year, the sowing of the paddy has been delayed. And it is affecting the wheat productivity as well.
No, this can be determined by comparing the total production of wheat and rice in the state during last 5-6 years. If you compare the data, it would be, the figure will come out. What has been the effect of that? Okay, what are these biofertilizers? How they can increase our agriculture production? Have you heard about the biofertilizers?
Yes, sir.
So what type of fertilizer these are? And why they are not harmful to the crop?
So because they use the soil biota, the soil bioorganisms that can increase the fertility of the soil. So for example, the nitrogen fixating bacteria, for example, the rhizobium, it is used as a biofertilizer. So it does not increase the soil toxicity. So it does not lead to biomagnification or eutrophication. So its negative impacts are very less.
Good. But apart from these soil microorganisms, there are several trees also, tall plants,
Yes,
trees,
yes.
perennial. They also fix atmospheric nitrogen, you should know. Okay, not only this. Can you name 2-3 plants which have the nitrogen fixing bacteria, maybe in the stem or roots? These are known now. No idea?
So sorry, presently.
Okay, no problem, but you should read about it. What do you mean by the biofortification of food?
Biofortification means that improving or enriching the nutrient quality, nutrient content of the food, which either it was having less in amount or it was not having before. So, for example, the vitamin A in golden rice is one particular.
Okay, COP26. Have you heard about the COP26?
Yes, sir.
Where it was held and who was the president?
So it was held in Glasgow.
Good. Do you remember the date?
No, sir. So, but it was held in November. I do not recall the date.
Just second about. Anyway, who was the president? Because president was of Indian origin.
Sorry, sir.
His ancestors were from UP. That's why I'm asking where you are going to give the interview. So please read about it. He was from Agra and find out his name. I know, but I'll not tell you. You have to work out on this. Okay. So these are the. Tell me the names of 2 female chief minister of UP. No idea. You tell me how many MPs are there from UP? MP and MLAs?
So 75 MPs are there from UP.
75? I think the number is different. You work out on this. And how many districts are there?
Yes, sir, 75 districts are there.
Okay. In terms of area, UP occupies which position in India?
So 4th.
4th position. In terms of population?
So it is the largest state in terms of the population.
Okay, my last question. Which city of UP is called as Manchester of India?
So it is Kanpur.
Kanpur. Thank you very much and all the best. Good luck.
Saumya, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the formal interview is over. I'll just give you our feedback. Which attempt of yours is this at the interview?
Sir, in interview, it is my first attempt. Overall, it is my second attempt.
Very good. You have done very well for the first interview. You have been very confident and you have the poise and the level of alertness which is expected. I'm sure you will do well. But a few points just keep in mind. Number 1 is a suggestion about your dress. Will you go like this to the interview?
No, sir, I wear a sari.
Very good, very good. A light colored sari and do it properly. Okay, fine, no problem. Then you have to brush up your knowledge about the UP statistics, state statistics. Okay, for that, when is your interview?
So it is on 28th.
Okay, there's hardly much time, but you have a one pager you will get from the UP government website. It is known as UP at a glance. Okay, have the GDP figures on your fingertips, have the HDI figures on your fingertips, your SDG figures, and things like literacy rate, especially those relating to women and child development. Okay, that you must have. You also should be aware of some of the flagship programs of the UP government, whether it is one district, one product, or whether it is women related programs or child development programs. थोड़ा पढ़ के उनके बारे में have them in your on your fingertips. Okay.
Yes.
Now there is no specified language in which you are to attend the interview. So we would suggest that depending on the language in which the questioner is asking the question, you should reply to him in that question. If the board member is asking in Hindi, reply in English in Hindi, and otherwise in English. Okay. But in case you feel you are not confident in that particular question, then you can always take permission that I would like to answer in Hindi or I would like to answer in English. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Few things are very important. UP infrastructure development, major projects are going on. You should read about them and be aware about what is happening. The Airport is one, then the express highways, Bundelkhand Express Highway, the Honorable PM was there just a couple of days ago to inaugurate. Then there is this Ken-Betwa link, a major interlinking of rivers project. That, and then also, things on the wildlife and forestry, etc., because you are from the, that geographical background. So they will like to know how do you test the forest cover, how do you, see the afforestation, etc., etc. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, would you like to ask us something? Do you have some clarifications from us?
So I think my knowledge of the factual knowledge is very limited. So for example, most of the questions that have been asked, I have been avoiding them. So do I need to work much upon that? For example, the questions on politicians that have been asked.
No, basically, just scan through some of the important personalities. That should be more than enough. But UP statistics and UP, programs, you'll have to read them up because that is important. You're going to UP, so they will, they will make sure that they will not ask you questions on Delhi. I can assure you. Okay, so you have to prepare. And regarding the other knowledge of your geographic subjects and all, that has already been tested in the written. So I don't think that will be much of a problem. But then sometimes, they can ask a question or two. Okay. What else?
So that is it.
You will do very well. We have given you 71% marks, which is one of the highest we have given so far. Okay. And being a lady candidate, you should be very well aware of the women's children and development program, their development involvement in the Panchayati Raj institutes, etc. Okay.
Sure, sir.
We wish you all the best. You will do well. Don't worry. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.